Instagram, the freakishly addictive ever so cool app on our phone that's become the center of our universe. We use it for pretty much everything, from never missing a beat with our friends and family to keeping up to speed with our favorite movie star. From buying that hot pair of pumps you just saw to crushing on that cute guy you just met at the bar. While we've pretty much mastered the art of maneuvering the platform for ourselves, why does it still feel like ground zero when it comes to leveraging it for our business? Why does it feel so daunting to reach the same set of people? What does it take to inspire them to engage, to take action, to buy? We have the same questions, and we are hell-bent on finding the answer. That's why on our 10th episode of Just Between You and Me, we are sitting down with the world's leading expert on Instagram for business, Sue Zimmerman, for a one-on-one like you've never seen before. We'll ask her all the questions you wanted to, so we can bring you a blueprint for Instagram that you can action from the word go. Join us live this Wednesday, 8th of July, 11 a.m. PST, only on nvideo.io/you and me.
Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? And welcome to Just Between You and Me. And we have a treat in line for you today. Sue B. Zimmerman, my good friend and sometimes a pain in my rump. She is going to be joining us, and we are going to be chatting about all things Instagram. Now, Sue, nobody knows Instagram like Sue, and she not only knows it, but she's like the biggest Instagram cheerleader. So she beats on me constantly because my Instagram game is not as strong as, for instance, my YouTube game. Actually, the only game I'm strong is YouTube. But at any rate, Sue will be probably beating me up at some point. So I need lots of calming thoughts from the entire community to just help me through it. I need positive energy. But what you're going to learn about Instagram is absolute marketing gold from Sue B. Zimmerman, because nobody knows that game like she does. Now, let me give you a few details before we bring Sue on. Now, you're viewing this in a variety of different places. Some of you are viewing us on YouTube. Some of us are viewing it on Facebook. But most people are viewing us now on the InVideo site. If you go to nvideo.io/you and me, you can watch the live stream, and you can also engage in the chat and the comments with the entire community there. It's fine to watch it on Facebook. It's fine to watch it on YouTube, but your conversation, the dialogue and the comments get siloed into those markets, into those communities, whereas everybody can have the conversation at the InVideo site. So I invite you to join us there, and as well, you'll also find all of the replays of our previous episodes, as well as the blog posts of our other guests, including people like Mark Schaefer and so many other just brilliant marketers. It's becoming a really valuable resource. So that is what I kind of wanted to get you to do. So let's now sit back, relax, get your notebook out, and get ready, because you're about to get the Sue B. Zimmerman experience. Sue B. Zimmerman, how the heck are you doing?
Good. I love the dash of laughter. Let's make it happen.
Now let's let everybody. First of all, you are based in Boston, but right now you're visiting your daughter. You're in Los Angeles, so you're not in your normal studio. So you're all mobile for us with your handheld and sitting in your daughter's bedroom.
Yeah, I'm actually in Encinitas near San Diego. And I'm in her bedroom with good lighting near a window. I always tell everybody getting good lighting. I got my mic to travel. Yeah, I even hooked up. Can you see my Instagram
yes.
in the plant?
I hope the plant is going to survive it.
Yeah, it has a hair clip attached to it. It's all good.
Oh, good. Well, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have you on, and we got to have full disclosure, because we will be probably a little more familiar than normal guest-host relationship, because you and I have become fast friends and actually kind of each other's accountability partners. So we talk on a pretty much weekly basis about details of our business, and we share a lot of ideas going back and forth. So if we seem a little bit overly familiar, it's because we are. Just so everybody know, and so that people are comfortable with that. So let's get into the whole Instagram story. Now I gotta say that what timing, because I don't want to talk about it yet. I think we want to wrap things up, because Instagram had a big announcement. Just was it yesterday that they released some new features?
Yes, it was yesterday. I think we should save that so everyone sticks around because we got lots to talk about, Steve.
But you're pretty excited about what those features are.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be excited, mostly because of the tactics behind it and the strategies that any business owner can apply.
Okay, so here's what we want to do, Sue, today is we want to make sure that we give people real good tactics. This show is called Just Between You and Me because typically speaking, when you watch a podcast or listen to a podcast or you watch a live stream interview between, talking about social marketing, people talk about all of the mainstream stuff. But the most interesting stuff happens once we turn the cameras off and we're chatting chatting afterwards.
Yeah.
And we say, just between you and me, what do you really do? So we want this to be those actionable items of just between you and me, the sort of things that we share amongst ourselves.
I love it.
So that people can kind of get a look in the back room. So
wait. You know me. Just between you and me, Steve. I want to know who's here. Anyone tuning in live, and if you're watching on the replay, come on over to the Instagram expert and say hello. Because you know me, Steve. I can multitask like a ninja.
So you keep your eye on the chat. So and I've just pulled up my comments here. So we will get some feedback from people coming in on the comments as well. But unfortunately, the way that this interface works is I don't think you can see all the comments, but you can if they're commenting to you on Facebook, right? So
yeah, I'm staying really present for you, Steve. I'm just I got my phone. Anyone tuning in, I want to meet you. I want you to come say hi. The Instagram expert, come pop over.
Let's dive in. And we're going to be talking Instagram for business today. Is Instagram now? I guess the biggest kind of overview that I'd like to start with is how the Instagram algorithms is working for individuals for discovery. Because a lot of people, am I wrong in thinking that a lot of people have a post and pray strategy on Instagram and they don't really know how to create engagement and then how to create a real active following?
Yeah, I think people struggle on a regular basis because they don't understand how to build relationships and lead with like the work that goes into that you and I know from the many years that we've built our communities. And it really comes down to creating content that your target audience would be interested in. And there's so many strategies on Instagram that we can deep dive in to do that. And there's not one thing that's going to help.
Give me a differentiation, because if we look at the main social platforms that people can create their engagement in, the kind of the archetypes, you've got YouTube, you've got Twitter, you've got Instagram, and you've got Facebook. Into one of those buckets, people are going to pour their energy. What's the big difference with the
I love
Instagram?
This question. Yes, I love this question. And this is my personal opinion. And I'm on all of those platforms, but there is no other place on social where you can create such an intimate relationship with someone from Instagram using the direct message strategies and tactics that I teach. And those have to do with having conversations with people that are interested in your content, like I said earlier.
And it's the direct messaging that's the key there.
It's one of the many things, but where else in the world can you literally, when you get a notification on Instagram, you open it up, you look at who commented, liked, followed, did some action. That red notification pulls you in stronger than an email in your inbox, stronger than a Facebook notification. Anyone tuning in, let me know if you agree with me, because you want to see who tagged you. What did they say about you? The comment. And so you are pulled into that notification quicker, I think, than anywhere else. And these are conversations that you can have with people quickly. You can mention people at any time and get their attention, and you can just go deeper faster. That's my personal opinion from my experience of 8 years teaching Instagram.
And that's an engagement strategy, because you're making a commitment. If you're going to be using Instagram as your main social platform, you're making a commitment to have one-on-one conversations. In almost to a certain extent, private conversations because of the DM functionality.
So yes, and so you can have one-to-one conversations, and then Steve, you might not know this because you hardly use Instagram, but you can also create
Keep count.
You can create groups with, and I have coaching clients in groups of people from workshops, and when I go live on Instagram and I have guests, I create groups where I can then video call and talk to people, like up to 6 people at a time in a video chat. And these are people I'm talking in seconds from Africa and France and the UK. Like, I have a global audience. I can get on a video chat and connect with people deeper. And so there's just so much opportunity. If you were to ask me what's the one thing, I think the intimacy of creating real relationships and getting people's attention quickly.
So that is a great tease if we can get people paying attention to start, if they're paying attention. So what do you look for in a great content strategy for
So
Instagram?
the most important thing, and this is what I teach our students in our Ready, Set, Graham course, is you need to think about your core values and your content buckets, which are essentially your visual buckets. The things that make you different than anyone else who does what you do, leaning into your personality, leaning into the essence of who you are and what makes you different than everyone else that does what you do. Because I can tell you that there's probably thousands of people that say they teach Instagram, right?
Mhm.
So what makes me different? I show up every day teaching. I show up speaking. I foster a community. I'm the biggest cheerleader that you can want to have on your side. Like, so leaning into the things that make you different. And so for a lot of people in our age bracket, 50 and older, are typically not as confident leaning into their true essence. And when I say this, it's getting on video. It's talking to people as if you're talking to the camera, one person at a time. It's really the imperfections of what people can connect with. And I think a lot of people have challenges around this.
Are we talking about, I think maybe here, this might be, I just had a bit of an epiphany. I think that there is a culture war in Instagram the way there is on YouTube. For example, when people look at my YouTube channel, it's a small channel, but it's big. But it's small compared to the massive channels. But my engagement with my audience is tutorial and teaching, not entertainment. So I classify myself very differently. And an audience of 300 or 400 or 500,000 is a huge audience for somebody like me who engages a lot with my audience.
Right.
When we think of Instagram, the term Instagram influencer just kind of pops up and everybody thinks Instagram influencer. And we're thinking of the Kanye's who's now running for president that's got the millions and millions of followers, but has no engagement with their community. You're talking about an entirely different beast. You're talking about the craftsmanship of being an Instagram
educator.
But for anybody building their business, they want to be a workman. They want to be a craftsman. They want to have relationships. They're not trying to become an influencer with millions and millions of followers because the strategies that you're teaching aren't. They get their success through some other mechanism. Am I right? Are we talking about two different things?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting epiphany, and I think that's valid for sure. I think
because we get lost in that. I think we get lost in the celebrity as opposed to the communication.
Yeah, everyone is so concerned about their follower count and the numbers. And you and I, we love that we have big numbers, but the truth is, all I care about are the conversations. All I care about are people actively showing up in conversation, in community threads, and being a part of the conversation, contributing to it, asking questions, and not being a lurker and someone who's just, not even involved in any conversation. It's when I coach my clients, it's the conversations that give you opportunities, and opportunities give you conversions. And then when Steve and I talk about the word conversions, we're talking about YouTube subscribers. We're talking about our email list growing. We're talking about making money with our trainings and, really growing our community. And so the word conversion has different meanings for different people. But if you were to ask me my number one goal every day in business, for me, it's to grow my email list every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And you and I both work so hard at giving from the heart with compassion, with no ego, with no ulterior motive other than to see other people win.
Well, that is, I mean, you know that we're both exactly on the same page as far as following those basic business principles and growing your email list, moving people out of rented space into your own space is so crucial. But you've done it. I think, like, I've done it on YouTube, which is easy because I can put a link in, sign, and I can even say in my video, sign up, click here to sign up for my mail list, and they can click there and sign up for my mail list. You've like done it with a handicap.
What do you mean?
Because Instagram doesn't let you do that.
Oh, so you want me to talk about tactics?
Yes.
Cool. So it does though. You
But it
can't
doesn't.
stop. Let me school you. And Steve did tell you guys
Teach
that
them how. Teach us how.
we're like sister brother over here. Yeah. So let me give everybody my analogy of Instagram and how I'd like for you all to think about it. So Instagram's this huge village right now. When I first started teaching 8 years ago, there was just the feed, one place to create content. And now there's 4 places. I call it the Sue neighborhoods: the feed, stories, IGTV, and Instagram Live. In all of these neighborhoods, you can have conversations in the Instagram direct message, like we just talked about. But how do you get people to have conversations in the Instagram direct message? And how can you send links, is what Steve's saying. Well, you have one link in your bio, or you can use a tool like Linktree, which is what we sometimes do to link more than one link.
So
But
that's where you have the one link in your bio, but it sends you to a roster of links.
yeah, and you can create your own landing page if you want to do that as well. We alternate between our YouTube video of the week and Linktree, sending people to our strategy guide or to our training, our free training, or to our YouTube channel, because we're always trying to nurture relationships before we sell. And so you got to build that trust. You got to get people to like you. So you can have a link in your bio. You can also have a link. You can send links in the Instagram direct message. Anyone can. You don't have to have 10,000 followers, but that's not what you want to do first. Only if someone wants to receive a link.
So what you're talking about are the people that if you follow me, all of a sudden you get a link back, like happens in LinkedIn, where people start saying, "Hey, come and download my free thing."
You can create quick replies, which is a tactic I teach. I have a YouTube video that you can absolutely share with the audience. You can teach tactics to make it more efficient with sending information as long as they want it.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is say things when people ask me like questions that they expect me to answer because I'm the Instagram expert. Does anyone know like how many questions I get asked? Probably not, hundreds. And I'm not going to answer them all for free, but I will send you my guide. I will send you my YouTube channel. And then I'll say something like this. It sounds like you'd be interested in my training. Do you want me to send you a link? So if, I have a free training, SueZimmerman.com/3 keys, or I have my Ready, Set, Gram, my paid version. So depending on the types of questions that they're asking and I'm listening to, I'm asking for permission back. Do you want me to send you this? Not buy my shit, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really important. So in addition to the DM, Steve, in IGTV, and I don't know if you've done any, I hope you will soon because you're so fabulous on video, but in IGTVs, all links are live. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. So if you haven't added the neighborhood IGTV, or if you're someone who has not been able to start a YouTube channel like Steve and I, and you want to, when you do IGTV, there are opportunities to create series, Steve, so you can categorize your channel, which is essentially a TV channel in Instagram, and it's free. And it's what it costs thousands of dollars in the 50s and 60s, just saying. And you can drop a link in many links in an IGTV. And a lot of people don't know this. So there's live links there. Now, on a live broadcast, you cannot drop a live URL. So I kind of like that Instagram protects us from marketers who are so aggressive and lead with selling, which means you have to work to earn the trust of an individual, a business, a brand, a philanthropy, a movement before converting.
So you've mentioned you brought up the different, you call them neighborhoods, which I think is brilliant. So you've got your main Instagram feed, which is what most people are very familiar with. Then you have Instagram stories, which are decaying, just kind of instant gratification. They only last for 24 hours and then they're gone.
Don't use the word decaying, because most people are spending time in stories than anywhere else on Instagram. In fact, everyone let us know in the comments, are you watching more stories or are you spending more time in the post? Let us know here on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram.
I must be an outlier, because I when I go into Instagram, I scroll through the posts and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I know. I'm so disappointed to you, Sue. I am sorry.
I love you. It's okay.
But okay, so and then there's IGTV, which is longer form video. Depending on your content type, are you going to gravitate towards one or the other? So it seems to me that stories are very, when people are invested in you personally.
Okay, let me break it down. Okay. Yeah. So stories is where you don't have to be so perfect. The feed is curated and lives on. It's evergreen. So that is the best representation of your portfolio, your business, who you are, and what you do. And if you are not showing up, sharing content of value that's educational, information, a resource, or entertaining in some way that is consistent in your area of expertise, in your niche, if you're not consistently showing up, you're not going to earn and build that trust as quickly. That's the feed. Stories support the content in your feed. Stories drive traffic where you want people to go from tapping through. Obviously, you need to have 10,000 followers to get them to do the swipe up, but your stories is a way for you to amplify, promote, and broadcast your content. And so when it's done well and you're not creating noise and you're not just doing stories for the sake of checking it off your list, you can have some amazing conversations in the DM. And these happen, Steve, from using the engagement stickers, people taking polls, doing market research, doing the slider sticker, answering questions. Instagram has created so many new opportunities using the engagement stickers for people to engage. And that engagement is good for the algorithm. And we touched on the algorithm at the beginning. And I want everyone to know that the amount of time people spend on your account in all 4 neighborhoods, the more time people spend looking, swiping for a carousel, watching and consuming a whole IGTV, tapping through all your stories, Instagram rewards you, because Instagram's biggest goal is to keep you on the platform as long as possible.
So this sounds a lot like YouTube. So, because I've always wondered.
Oh, does that mean we're married now?
So I've always wondered, and I've always struggled with growing the Instagram following, because you said you're in all places. I know you do a lot on Facebook for a variety of reasons. You've invested a lot into YouTube. So you are very omnipresent as far as getting your presence out there. I realize that all of that traffic you drive back to Instagram. And I always felt that Instagram was a place, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that Instagram was a place that you drove traffic to, but didn't have the ability to grow internally, organically within itself. For example, on YouTube, I could live on YouTube and not be on any other social platform, because YouTube is such an amazing recommendation engine, and it will constantly bring me it'll bring new blood into or new people into the game for me, because they'll continuously share my content if it's on point. Does Instagram have the same organic internal ability to grow?
So remember what I said, our goal is always to grow our email list. And we do about 250 people every week from what we do on Instagram. Our guide.
Transition. No, you're talking about converting people that are following you on Instagram into your mail list. What about growing that Instagram presence? Does Instagram have the ability through its own recommendation engine for you to grow organically within Instagram the way you can, say, in YouTube?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
so now that I have 106,000 followers, I don't see my bumps every 100. I only see it every 1,000. So when I gain a 1,000 new followers, I then see it, and it takes me about a little under a month to gain 1,000 new followers.
But those are coming from multiple locations. They're coming to Instagram from your YouTube following, from your Facebook. You're driving people to it constantly. If you weren't in those other platforms, would you be able to grow Instagram from within?
Yes. So I'm not driving traffic from Facebook to Instagram.
You're not?
No, I'm driving. Facebook is all Facebook to Instagram. No, YouTube to Instagram. Yes, I want people, but we always, Steve, our game is to create our YouTube videos and drive traffic back to YouTube using Instagram. Instagram drives traffic back to YouTube. Let me say why. Because
yes, please do.
Because YouTube is the biggest, it's owned by Google. It's the search engine is huge. People find me on YouTube. They stay on my channel. They ask me to speak. They hire me. They see me there, and they go down the vortex of Subi, I need to learn more. And we have 370 videos there. So it is the proof on steroids of who I am and how
it's your discovery engine.
And how I show up and how I teach. And in our description, we have all the links to all the things, to the guide, to the training, to my Instagram account. But we are using Instagram to grow our email list, to nurture our community, to show up teaching Instagram every day and driving traffic back to YouTube to grow our YouTube channel.
So global strategy, you're kind of an ecosystem of your own.
Yes.
You invest a lot in YouTube,
yes,
in order to be discovered. As people get to know you, they build a relationship. That relationship, more often than not, will get nurtured the most to get your super fans in Instagram. They get to Instagram, they start to have a conversation, they fall in love with you, they migrate to your mail list from Instagram. And then but your proof of your kind of your bona fides, why you have authority, your authority, a lot of it comes from the initial discovery on YouTube.
Yeah. So we do grow our email list on all of those platforms. Our goal is to get people to download our free guide. It's 11 pages. There's checklists. It's an action. People would pay for this. It's so good. And so we're building that. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine what I'd get if I paid for something, when we deliver that. So yeah, we really build. And like you, Steve, I respond to every comment on YouTube, and I respond to every comment on Instagram. That is not automated. That is me, because I believe that's where the magic is. And that's why my calendar is blocked a lot for the engagement. Everyone's favorite word is their name. People want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to know that you aren't posting and ghosting and creating content and leaving. Like, the conversation is where the gold is, right?
See, I think that fundamentally has been a really eye-opening for me, because I've known your business for a long time.
Yeah.
But I always thought that you had some magic mojo that helped you grow your Instagram following that I didn't see on Instagram. And that was kind of one of the roadblocks that I personally had.
So you get, so the thing that you probably don't know is that you get suggested when someone follows someone. So when people
that's what happens on YouTube, and that's gold on YouTube.
Yeah. So when people follow Mel Robbins or Tony Robbins or Brendan Bouchard, Marie Forleo, I get suggested. Amy Porterfield, I get suggested. So that feature on Instagram, I'm sure I get discovered a lot from the suggested followers.
But that's because that completes a large part of the picture. I think for a lot of our listeners and viewers right now too. I think that really.
Awesome. What kind of comments are coming in? I'm curious.
I have. Let me see. I'm just getting one feed of comments. People saying they go for posts over stories. Oh,
interesting. How many people? Like,
one person, and it's a guy. So I have no. Let me see if I'm not getting that many feeds right now. Let me just check
Okay.
here.
All right. So let's keep
But
rolling.
I do. I have another. So this brings us into the. Let me just check my notes here because I want to make sure that I cover all of the different stuff off here. Okay. So.
Wait. Can I interrupt you for a second?
Of course.
So in my stories, I promised everyone that I would teach them the one mistake that 9 out of 10 people make.
What's that?
Can I roll into that?
I would love to know it because I was going to ask you what drives you crazy that you see people doing.
Oh, I love this. Great. So the number one mistake I see is that people don't utilize the SEO that Instagram provides. So Steve, what I mean by this is there is SEO in your name in Tech, but there is also SEO in your bio, in your subtitle. So if you look at my Instagram account, it's the Instagram expert. And if you search the word Instagram or expert, I could come up. But guess what? Most people search Sue Zimmerman. So Sue Zimmerman and IG marketing is also in my SEO so that if people search those words, I come up. So if you're a hairdresser in Boston, you should say hairdresser Boston. People search the word Boston. When I got my makeup, when I spoke in LA and I needed to get a makeup artist to come to the hotel because I'm kind of high maintenance like that, I just searched LA makeup artist and I found my girl.
So so this is in the subtitles within your profile.
Bio, in your profile.
And so making sure that you utilize that as base level search.
Exactly. So I'm gonna just look and see.
And that's now how is that? So that gets
okay. So whoa. I taught you this, Steve. So you have Tech as your username, and then you did exactly what I teach my students to do. You have your name, Steve Dotto, and tech expert.
Yes.
Perfect. Steve, someone must have schooled you well.
Well, we're gonna have to change that. We're gonna have to change that to my baby boomer focus. Gray guy.
That people aren't searching gray guy.
I know the answer. So it's what you're searching for. Okay, so that brings us down into the mechanics of Instagram. So you've just talked about something that's really important in the search terms, which like if you're in WordPress, these are your Yoast keywords that you're putting in so that Google knows, Instagram in this case knows what to search for. But there are so many other elements when you create a post. And the biggest one, I guess, that confuses people the most is dealing with the hashtag strategy. So let's talk about the search pieces of your Instagram content. So obviously the image, if you're doing, is it different for feed than your Instagram feed than what your strategy is for IGTV? I guess stories doesn't really have a strategy that way, does it?
Oh, honey, every single neighborhood in Instagram has a different strategy.
Okay, talk to me about the mechanical pieces of each of the neighborhoods.
Okay, that's a great question, Steve. So such a tech nerd.
I know.
Jeez. Okay, so the post, the most important, this is the content, like I said, that lives on forever. It's your evergreen content. So this needs to be on brand. Your description, you can have up to 2,200 characters. The most important thing is the hook. People miss this. You have 78 characters to write what the post is about. And this is not what you ate for breakfast or where you're vacationing. This is what's in it for them. And so if you don't hook them with those first 78 characters, they're not going to tap more and read the post. That post should be juicy and you should be giving your best content. And it's not something that you can find on Google. This is like you as the expert from your experience, from your case studies, not like things that I can randomly find from just being on the internet. So this is what differentiates me and you from other people that say they're experts in their niche, right? So that's
I'm going to put you on the spot. Your last post, what did you use those 78 characters? How did you deal with that?
Okay, so if anyone comes over, this is actually a post all about my core values and what I lean into as a business owner. And the lead in says, are you challenged with attracting the customers who bring you joy? Let me back it up. And of course, you're going to want to tap more. And then my post goes on and on and on. It's a long one. And I have a lot of conversation on this post.
But that summary is that 78 character hook that you just talked about. And so
Yes.
so see, here's the thing. So
Steve,
often on Just Between You and Me, we teach something, but people don't walk the walk. I just asked you to share the last post. That kind of shows that you walk the walk with what you're doing.
yeah, let me back it up one to Monday's post, which is every Monday we drop a new YouTube video, Steve. So the hook on that one is tips to get more shares on Insta stories, 4 story tricks to get more views. So you know exactly what I'm going to be teaching.
And do you write that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, well, I work with my Kendall and I have a content strategist. We work together and we craft, each post on Instagram, the description probably takes me 20 minutes. Like the whole post, I'm in it for like 30 minutes. It's like a micro blog. It's good. It's juicy. I want you saving my content, tapping on that little ribbon icon on the bottom right. I want you to put it in a category and save it and come back to it later when you need it. I want you to watch all the way through. I want you to read every word. I want you to swipe every carousel. And I want to make sure that I'm delivering on promise and value with every action you take, because time is money.
Got it. Darren says he's enjoying this. So this is good. Okay. So now we've gone through the post.
Yeah.
The elements of the post.
Let's go into
Talk
stories.
to me now about stories.
So, Steve, you're going to like this. So I invite you to pick up your phone as I'm talking. So today I did exactly what I said earlier. I broadcasted the post in my feed, and I told you by sharing the post in my feed to your story, I said why we bought a double kayak plus some juicy business lessons. Now, if I said why we bought a double kayak, my husband and I, you'd be like, I don't care why you bought a double kayak. But I said plus some juicy business lessons, and it's a new post. And I said tap in to read all the details. And then I was being a little on brand and silly because it's fun. People like to see a little bit of that. And I said, get ready to share the next clip into your story. And the next clip is, the older I get, the more I realize how precious each day is. So I'm telling people to share that because that's the truth. And then that was the story. But but then my team said, Sue, you need to do a story for Steve. So I got on video and I talked about why people should be joining us on this live. So it wasn't good enough to say, Steve Dotto and I are going live, join us. Like, I don't care that you're going live with Steve Dotto, but I said, going live with Dotto Tech. He's an amazing YouTube educator and my accountability partner. And I will be sharing the number one mistake that 9 out of people make when setting up a bio for business. And so I wanted to deliver on that promise, which I just did to all of you. And then I shared the graphic that his team created that's fabulous. And then I shared a little behind the scenes, because everyone loves behind the scenes. That keeps it real, right?
Yeah.
So how does that sound to you, Steve, when you look at that and we're teaching and I'm talking and it's in real time?
I'll tell you the truth.
Yes.
It intimidates me.
I intimidate you all the time.
It's good.
Yes.
But it is so much work. I don't know how you do it.
It's so like anything else in life, it's a muscle that, you know this from working out, that hasn't been flexed. And the more you flex it, the stronger you get. And so I am an artist. I love being creative. I love standing out. This is what brings me joy. And I want to stand out from everyone else that does Instagram stories in the most branded, clean, educational, inspirational, and high level way. And so I spend time doing that because I get phenomenal results. What are those results, Steve? Conversations every single day.
We spend so much time in our online strategy with all of the mechanics, and we'll continue to talk about the mechanics. We won't leave that, but I want to come back to this. When people ask me about the success of our friends who have success, you being one of them, and values that I value in myself, one of my favorite words, which is used very little, is intent. Is when you start doing something, what your intent, and having a clear vision of what it's going to be. I think that you always have clear intent on every piece of content that you share. It's strategic, but there's also, you talked about sharing your values.
So
There's
let's go in.
also a human value to it where you truly want your community's success and you're willing to invest in your community's success.
Yeah, because I don't have an agenda. I don't have an ego around this. Nothing's going to change in my life if someone buys something from me.
Mhm.
I'm at in a place in my life where I can give to those that need, and I lead with making impact more than making income. The income follows always, but the impact is what's so powerful. And one thing that you just said that I want all the listeners to hear, because I think it's really important, I care so much about every single detail. I don't want distractions. My daughter had a guitar on this wall before we started this. I didn't want you looking at a guitar. I moved over her plant. I have intent. I had on a different shirt, and Steve was like, it's purple. It blends. Can you change? I'm like, of course. I wear hats and love hats and have hundreds of hats. That's on
They're
brand.
all strategic. Yeah.
I, have that New England, Boston, bossy East Coast vibe. That's one of those core values that, that's who I am. I'm leaning in to me. And if you don't like it, and if you don't like that I dropped the F bomb, and if you don't like my directiveness, you don't have to follow
Yeah.
me.
There's
But
others.
I'm not gonna change who I am to please, because I know I'm doing so much good.
See, this is the things that we don't learn in a strategy session. So I've got a couple of other questions to ask you about stories before we
Great.
leave them. But I want
Great.
to accelerate because we've only got 20 minutes left. With that story that you just created for today, there were
Yes.
several calls to action in that. What do you consider good engagement? Like, you've got 100,000 followers on Instagram. When you post something that and you say share this, which was the motivational slide, share this slide. What
Yeah.
do you, when you look at that realistically, what do you say? Oh, that was good, or oh, that fell flat.
I compare it to I look at insights and see how it compares to other things. When I'm directive and I tell people to share, obviously we get more shares. I'm going to
You say
answer.
more, but give me a number. Like,
I'm going to give you
what's a number that makes you wake up?
hundreds. It's not
Hundreds.
thousands.
Okay.
It's not thousands. It's hundreds. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because guess what? Everyone has their own agenda, and every action takes time away from them doing what they need to do. So again, what's in it for them? But you have to be so directive, as if you're talking to someone who's 10 years old, if you want them to take action. And so people won't share that unless I tell them to share that. People
Then how do you
won't.
reward them for that share?
Oh,
Do you let them know?
Oh yeah, I always either do a video in the DM thanking them, or I'll say, I appreciate you, or
So with
so
100 or 200 people that will take action, you will take the time and you will give them all some
some love,
affirmation.
some affirmation. I think
That's the commitment. That's that engagement commitment.
Oh, and you and I know both that this is where
Yeah.
we separate ourselves from the masses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge. Okay, so so now we've done stories. Take me into IGTV.
So what part of IGTV?
The
Do you want me to?
mechanics that make it successful, how you make it
Okay,
rank in search, how you get people discovering you,
Great.
how you make sure that you honor your content.
Awesome. So about a month ago, Instagram changed when you go live on Instagram, that you can now save that live as an IGTV instead of saving it to your story. So it used to be that you could save the IGTV to your story. And I'm sorry,
The live tier.
it used to be that you could save your live to your story and people could watch it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
With that said, my IGTV strategy and tactics are completely different because Instagram changed the game. And so you have to change with it. We don't own it. We gotta play by the rules. So the way that we have our strategy for IGTV, because we know from our insights that people watch, the retention rate is 3 to 4 minutes with an IGTV for us. And so time is money, baby. So anything over that, my live broadcast on Mondays, Steve, are 45 minutes to an hour. No one is going to watch an IGTV in my channel
No.
for that long. So what did I need to do? I needed to convince people to show up live, because I give away a selfie light. I teach a ninja tip that I don't teach anywhere else. And I'm always bringing in guests. So how are you going to create people to want to be a part of something is a whole nother strategy, but we have it down pat and it works really well. I get up to 1,000 people on my live. Okay, back to IGTV. IGTV for us, the channel, everything with intention. So you can create your own cover image for an IGTV. So my graphic designer does all of my cover images so they're consistently on brand. And I always take a photo whenever I do an IGTV video of where I am in that outfit so that it will look good in the feed because you can share an IGTV to the feed. So you want to make sure you have a cover photo that's on brand. You want to make sure that you have the hook, just like we talked about earlier in the post.
So you've got the same option of writing a hook into
A
the
hook. Yep.
IGTV description. Okay.
And in the description, this is where a lot of you should be jumping up and down out of your seats. You still can write up to 2,200 characters, but you can at mention people. You can put links. You can put hashtags. You can get discovered. And Instagram is pushing IGTV as the neighborhood that gets the most attention. Why do I say this? If you open up Instagram and you tap in the Explore tab, which is the one that looks like the magnifying glass, you will see that IGTVs have the same real estate as a video. So the real estate for discovery is greater. So if you haven't done an IGTV in one of the Subi neighborhoods, now's the time. I'm going to push you guys. Tag me when you do, because you will be amazed at how much more engagement, views, likes, conversation you can get from doing a video for your business.
But you, unlike I guess it has all of the hallmarks of a full blog post as well because of the ability in the, is it called the description, to be able to write 2,200 words at 2,200 characters or words?
Characters. I call it a microblog, but yes.
Okay, 2,200 characters. So that's how many words is that going to be? That's going to be like a 400 word, 400 to 500 words.
I don't know, Steve. I don't count my words.
I
don't know everything.
But you can put links in there. You can have calls to action within that.
Of course, always. Oh, and that's the whole other thing. Steve, no matter what neighborhood you're in, if you don't have a hook and a call to action, you're not doing Instagram correctly.
Now, I used to, when I was in the early days of being bugged by you about Instagram, hashtags confused the hell out of me because people were doing these hashtag farms. They were having these huge clusters of hashtags that were, have hashtags finally faded into the background as far as importance? Or are they still important? Do we still have to learn about them?
Steve, you still going to have a hashtag headache. Sorry, buddy.
Okay. Tell me about it.
So hashtags are an opportunity for you to get discovered and an opportunity for you to show up in a hashtag hub, in conversation, in community. So it's important for you to know which hashtags are relevant for your niche and where you want to dominate and stay top of mind and make it to the top. And people discover you in hashtag hubs as long as they're relevant to your business. I invite everyone to tap into every hashtag before using it, because the hashtag social media, in my opinion, kind of looks like throw up. Like there's hamburgers and there's scandalous stuff and there's random stuff. It's so random. Like I don't want to be in a random hashtag. I want to stand out in a community, in a place where the conversation aligns with my core values and what I do. And a lot of people just copy other people's hashtags, use random hashtags, or they crash tag a hashtag, like they use Nike or some other random hashtag just to get seen. Steve, when you and I speak at Social Media Marketing World, people crash tag that hashtag all the time just to show up in that conversation. Is this making sense to you, buddy?
Yes, it does. It does. It's still a bit of a cesspool.
Okay, so for someone like everyone tuning in, one of the best hashtags to use is where you live. Like I always use hashtag Boston Businesswoman because I get discovered and I get asked to speak at certain events and connect with other business women in the area. So you could be using something similar. When you add your location, not just your location, not just hashtag Boston, but hashtag Boston Businesswoman, hashtag Boston Real Estate Agent, hashtag Boston Hairdresser, hashtag, you feeling me over here?
Yeah. So the hashtags are totally, that's one of the, I guess there's a bias to the YouTube community, because we've always had a questionable relationship with the tagging structure within YouTube, because YouTube is not clear on how they use those tags. So they force us to do them and spend time and energy on them, but we're not sure they actually make a difference at the end of the day. You're saying that your investment in time and hashtags is worthwhile. It will make a difference at the end of the day.
And Steve, we use a tool that I can share with your audience. I have a link for it. I'm going to send it to you in a text. And
Okay.
it's a phenomenal tool for you to really niche down. What they've done is data mined a lot of hashtags that go together that you should use together when you are using those hashtags. So I'm going to send that to you right now.
A cocktail of hashtags.
Well, it's just so easy to collect the right hashtags for your niche and for you to put them in groupings on your phone so that you can then copy and paste them very easily, either into your post or into your stories. And in stories, you can use up to 10 hashtags. In your feed post, you can use 30. And in IGTV, you can use 30. And in live, you don't use any.
Okay, I am dropping that into the chat right now. Got it. It's Flick.
Exactly. Flick is amazing. And it's a young company out of the UK, and they're brilliant. It's really done with data, like the right data.
Good stuff. All right. We've got 10 minutes left. We promised everybody that we'd talk about the new announcements that Instagram did yesterday. So what are they?
So there's one new announcement, and I really want to break this down for everyone. I just shared it with my high-level pro coaching clients, and I'm going to be sharing it in my stories again soon later today. Instagram announced that you can now pin 3 comments on your post, whether it's a video post or a photo post. Any post on your feed can be pinned. And to do that, all you need to do is swipe left and you'll see the pin icon, and you can pin it to the top. Make sure that you're following my stories and you'll see me like in action showing you. And what does this mean? Well, it means if people are validating your content, writing wonderful comments from the information that you're sharing, you can pin it to the top so that when someone lands on it, they will see the first 3 comments that are positive about what you're doing, and they will want to most likely be a part of that conversation. Now, for you, the person commenting, this is where it gets good. If you come over to Sue B and you leave me a stellar comment of what your takeaway was on my last post, I may pin your post to the top, and people will see those 3 pinned posts and most likely check you out, because the way that you've written that post is probably standing out from everyone else that just is double tapping, liking it, and leaving an emoji as a comment. And people like to connect with people who say things that are relevant, that are smart, that are intriguing. And if you're the person who is strategically commenting, and I invite you all to do that if you're struggling with what to post, you can have just as much success attracting the right followers when you strategically comment. And I think this is wonderful.
So pinning the comment, it means that is the pinned comment going to be the most noticeable outside piece of feedback that post is going to have. Like when people just view the post, it's going to appear, if they've got a regular size screen, it's going to appear right there at the bottom. So that pin post is going to be the thing that they see, that they see right away, right?
It basically,
we see a little, clapping hands or somebody saying "love you."
And the other thing, Steve, is the person. This is where it gets really good, you guys. Are you ready? The person's whose comment you pinned gets a notification.
Okay.
So
which
now
is like an extra dose of love from somebody.
So now
like
we're
you.
giving out a gold star. Who doesn't want a gold star?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So in YouTube, I'm going to just cross-pollinate strategy there. In YouTube, they've long had the ability to pin a comment in the YouTube feed. And in YouTube, it's of paramount importance in mobile, because when you watch a video on YouTube, I don't know if you noticed this, so you probably don't spend as much time on mobile on YouTube, but getting to the description means you have to scroll right down to the bottom of the comment feed. And a lot of people—
I see it. I'm on mobile all the time.
It drives me crazy.
Steve, I answer all of my questions on YouTube, so I'm on my phone.
Good. So you know that the person that's visiting doesn't get to see your, very often will miss the description in mobile, but you can create a post, a pin, reply in a comment yourself to a YouTube comment. So when I post a video, the first thing I do after I've posted is I go into comments and I comment on my own video, which seems rather narcissistic, I realize. But the comment that I put in is, here is the table of contents for the video, which has all the time codes in it, so that if people, because all of our videos are long these days, if people want to jump ahead to the most relevant section, they can do it. So I do that as a service. But it also means that they have navigation right away, right within the screen as they're looking at it on the mobile. That control of the visual information at the moment that people are consuming your content is so important. And for Instagram to give us that instead of and I won't say banal, but just, the happenstance of whatever comment happens to have been last, which you have no control over,
Right.
that does seem to me that be something that people can really lean into. And there's going to be some really interesting strategies come out of it.
I agree.
You might choose to put a dissenting comment up so people come to your defense.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you could. It'd be a challenge. You'd have to have a lot of confidence in your community, but I bet your community would come to your defense, Sue.
They always do. If anyone's a comment that I frequently get is, "Oh my God, how can you be the Instagram expert if you have 106,000 followers and you only get hundreds of likes?" And I'm like, I don't buy likes. I don't care about likes. I care about the conversation. I care about the emails. I care about my community. And if,
This is the thing. I mean, of all of the lessons that people are going to come away with today, the strategies, the understanding of the neighborhoods, all so valuable. But the reason that Sue's successful, and she would be just as successful if she had chosen Twitter as her platform or YouTube as her platform, is that she recognizes everything's posted with intent, everything's supported. We didn't even talk about the importance of consistency, which you are just a machine as far as consistently posting content, which we completely blew by and we didn't even get to. But also the fact that you honor your content and your community by truly engaging with them. It's not post and forget. This isn't something that you want to be a passive pastime. It is an active. You're active in your channel all the time.
Yeah. And I love that you said the word honor, because there is so much honor, because there literally is so much when you are talking to who you want to be doing business with, and you know that you're changing lives, and you know that they're just having success in their business. That's the magic. The magic is having them win.
We couldn't leave it on a better point. Sue, do not forget the B Zimmerman. SueBZimmerman.com is the place to go. Follow her on Instagram at the Instagram expert. Sue, it's always a pleasure. I want you to stay safe. You're flying back and forth across the country. It's making me anxious.
I love making you
anxious. Our other good friend Vivica Von Rosen just had hip surgery. She's probably watching from her hospital bed right now. So shout out to Viv. But you continue to teach your community and you continue to innovate. I thank you for sharing your hard-won knowledge with our
You're welcome. Can I give a little action step for everybody?
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in or if you're watching on the replay, I'm creating a movement, Steve. It's called #SueB_made_me_do_it.
Oh, yes.
And this is where you show up and you either do a video or a selfie post and you tag me with that hashtag, because there's a hub and I want to see you take action, because you can listen and learn all day long. But if you're not taking action and coming over and saying hi and letting me know what you learned, like, how can I keep supporting you? How can we keep supporting you? And that's all I ask. I mean, if you enjoyed this, like, let me know. Let me know and let Steve know.
#SueB_made_me_do_it.
Isn't that good?
It is good. I love that. It's a good thing to be doing. Sue, thank you very much. I'm going to send you to the green room. Just stick around. I want to debrief with you for just one moment while I let people know that coming up next week on Just Between You and Me, more of this great stuff. This was amazing today. Next week, it's going to be I'm going to be challenging Amanda Robinson, our good friend Amanda Robinson. We're going to be talking about Facebook and Facebook analytics. Maybe we're going to roll a little bit of bots into that as well. but Amanda Robinson will be joining us, another bright star on the social media marketing front. My thanks to our hosts at InVideo for setting all of this up and for supporting us. And of course, their tool is an amazing tool for creating streaming content on Instagram of all sorts of creating video. Oh, Farley's making his appearance too. Farley says it's time to go for a walk, Steve. We're almost done. So with that, I have to thank everybody, one and all. Stay safe. Take care of each other. A special thanks to Subi and her entire team, which, as you know, I think are just amazing. Till next time, I am Steve Dotto. Have fun storming a castle.